After 22 years of marriage, his wife asked for a DNA test for their youngest son. She did not ask during an argument, she did not accuse him of anything. She said it calmly, almost thoughtfully, as if she had been carrying the question for a long time. He had never doubted his son. But the moment she asked, something shifted inside him. Hi everyone, I'm Mia. Thank you for being here. Tonight's story is about legacy, doubt, and how a single request can quietly fracture a marriage that once felt unshakable. It's about a man who believed trust was solid after decades together, and how that certainty began to unravel not because of proof, but because of a question. Michael was 41 years old and had been married to Karen for 22 years. They had 3 children together, the youngest being a 19-year-old son named Adam, who had just started college. From the outside, their life looked steady and complete. They had weathered the difficult years of raising teenagers, financial stress, and career transitions. What remained felt like a quieter phase of marriage, one built on routine rather than passion. Michael had always been proud of his role as a father. He was not the overly emotional type, but he was present. He coached Adam's little league team. He helped him choose his first car. He spent hours teaching him how to drive in an empty mall parking lot years ago. There was a quiet satisfaction in believing that the man Adam was becoming reflected something solid and familiar. The request came on a Sunday evening. They were sitting in the kitchen after dinner, the kind of quiet moment that usually passed without significance. Karen had been distracted lately, not in an obvious way, but thoughtful, as if she were working through something privately. Michael assumed it was related to Adam leaving for college. Many parents struggle with that transition. She placed her coffee cup down and said she wanted to ask him something serious. Her tone was calm, almost too calm. She said she thought they should consider doing a DNA test for Adam. Michael did not understand the question at first. He thought she meant something medical, perhaps related to ancestry or genetic health screening. When he asked what she meant, she clarified that she wanted to confirm paternity. The air in the kitchen changed. He stared at her for several seconds, waiting for the punchline or the explanation that would make it reasonable. Karen did not look accusatory. She did not look angry. She looked conflicted. Michael asked her why she would even think that. She hesitated, then said she had been doing some personal reflection and wanted clarity. She said it was about honesty and transparency. She said that if everything was as they believed, the test would simply remove any possible doubt. The word doubt landed harder than anything else. Michael had never questioned whether Adam was his son. Not once in 19 years. The suggestion that doubt existed at all felt like an accusation without words. He asked her directly if she had ever been unfaithful. Karen said no. He asked her if she believed he had been unfaithful. She said no. Then why, he asked, would this even be necessary? Her answer was not immediate. She said she had recently discovered something about her own past that made her reevaluate timelines and possibilities. That was the first moment real uncertainty entered the room. Karen explained that before she and Michael married, during a brief period when they were dating but not yet exclusive, she had seen someone else. It had been short-lived and ended before she and Michael fully committed to each other. She said she had never considered it relevant because the dates had always seemed clear in her mind. Until recently. While organizing old documents, she found medical paperwork from that year and realized she might have misremembered the timeline by several weeks. The possibility, however small, had unsettled her. Michael listened without interrupting. He tried to calculate dates in his own mind, reconstructing years that had long ago settled into memory. 19 years earlier, their lives had been different. He remembered arguments about commitment, about whether they were serious. He remembered finally deciding they were building something stable. What he did not remember was sharing Karen with anyone else during that time. The fact that she had carried this uncertainty quietly for nearly 2 decades disturbed him more than the possibility itself. He asked her why she had never mentioned this before. She said because she was almost certain Adam was his. She said because she did not want to introduce doubt into something that felt secure. She said because she believed certainty in marriage sometimes requires choosing not to reopen old chapters. But now that Adam was an adult, she felt that truth, even uncomfortable truth, mattered more than preserving comfort. Michael did not raise his voice. He did not accuse her of betrayal. Instead, he felt something quieter and more destabilizing: humiliation. Not public humiliation, but internal. The realization that a foundational part of his identity might rest on a memory that was not entirely accurate. In the days that followed, he began studying Adam in ways he never had before. He noticed similarities in posture, in speech patterns, in the way he tilted his head when thinking. He searched for resemblance not because he had ever needed proof, but because now the idea of proof had been introduced. Karen remained composed. She did not push the issue aggressively, but she did not withdraw it either. She said she believed facing uncertainty was healthier than ignoring it. Michael found himself wrestling with something deeper than paternity. If Karen had truly been unsure, even slightly, and had chosen not to tell him, what else had been quietly edited over the years in the name of stability? The DNA test was eventually scheduled. The week before the results arrived was heavier than he expected. He realized that even if the test confirmed what he had always believed, something had already shifted. The innocence of unquestioned fatherhood was gone. The simple narrative of their early marriage had been complicated. When the results came back, they confirmed that Adam was his biological son. Karen cried when she saw the report. Not from surprise, but from relief. She said she had needed certainty not because she believed he was not the father, but because she could not continue carrying the possibility alone. Michael felt relief as well, but it was layered with something else. He realized that the real fracture had not been about biology. It had been about silence. Karen had not betrayed him physically. She had not lied in a direct sense. But she had withheld uncertainty for years, believing she was protecting the marriage. In doing so, she had also removed his ability to process that uncertainty alongside her. The test resolved the question of paternity. It did not instantly restore the feeling that their history was simple. In the months that followed, they spoke more openly than they had in years. Not only about the timeline before their marriage, but about fears they had both avoided. About how often stability in long marriages is built not only on love, but on selective memory. This story is not about infidelity in the traditional sense. It is about how doubt, even unspoken doubt, can quietly reshape a relationship. Karen believed she was protecting her family by not revisiting a confusing chapter from the past. Michael believed their shared history was fixed and unquestionable. Both were partially right. But certainty that is built on silence is fragile. When unspoken questions finally surface, they can feel like betrayal even when no affair ever occurred. Trust is not only about physical loyalty. It is also about allowing your partner to share uncertainty before it hardens into fear. Sometimes the most destabilizing revelations are not about what happened, but about what was never discussed. Thank you for watching this story. If it resonated with you in any way, I would truly appreciate it if you subscribed to the channel. It helps more than you think, and it allows me to keep sharing stories like this. I'd also love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What would you have done in Michael's place? Would you have agreed to the test immediately, or would you have felt betrayed by the request itself? And if you have your own story you'd like to share, you can write it in the comments too. I read everything. Take care of yourselves and see you in the next story. Bye.